Good morning, students. Let us begin with the new chapter of political science, social and political movements. Yes, here on page number 91, you will see very first question. Read out the news in a local newspaper. One passage is given. I am reading a passage for you. Movement against child marriage has been successful to a great extent, and the extent of child marriages have reduced by 50%. The workers in this movement worked very consciously. Workers from the movement against dowry also helped them. Now there is a need to start a drive against malnutrition, because poverty and malnutrition are two important problems to be taken on priority basis. Now here few questions I've asked. In the above newspaper item, different movements are included. Can you explain their meaning? Yes, if we would have one-to-one interaction, I expect answers from you, but right now I am only giving you the answers. Yes, in the above newspaper items, different movements are included. And which, can you explain their meaning? Yes, first movement is about child marriage, and second movement is about labor movement. Second movement is about dowry. Yes, second movement is about dowry. And this second question, this news deals with different subjects. Yes, the news deals with different subject. Are movements related to only one issue? Yes. And what are the issues? Social and political issues. Right? If different movements cooperate with each other, will they be more effective? Yes, they will be more effective if they cooperate with each other. So this is about the beginning of a movement in the lesson. Yes, now why movement? Before starting why movements, we have in the last chapter we got the information about the national and regional parties. Political parties compete for political power, and they win elections and try to resolve the problems of the common man. Political parties generally adopt a comprehensive perspective, that is ability to understand. They cannot concentrate on just one particular issue. From public cleanliness to space research, they have to take into consideration all matters from national perspective and take decisions. Political parties are expected to have a program for the problems of all sections of the society. And political parties adopt policies taking into consideration the interest of all farmers, laborers, businessmen, women, youth, and senior citizens. This is all about what we studied in the last chapter and what we are going to begin in this particular chapter, movements. Now, movements, a social movement is a loosely organized effort by a large group of people to achieve a particular goal, typically a social or political one, and this may be to carry out, resist, or undo a social change. It is a type of group action and may involve individuals, organizations, or both. Now, a political movement is a collective attempt by a group of people to change government policy or society with mainly political goals. Now, in the slide, you can see the social reform movement. It is a type of social movement that aim is betterment and development of society. A certain social political changes brought in society for the betterment through collective action are generally called social reform movement. Now here one diagram is given, collective action. So in above this blue circle you can see ideology. Next to that light green you can see agenda, parrot green strategy, yellow organization, and in orange circle you can see the leadership. So this all included, it is collective action of social reform movement. Now why movement? Yes, so all people in the society cannot participate in political parties and contribute to social welfare, right? So some people focus on a particular issue and pursue it. They organize people and try to pressurize the government to resolve that particular issue. So they constantly follow up on the issue, build public opinion about it, and thereby put a pressure on political parties and the government. And this type of organized activity is called movement. Organized activity is essence of any movement. So such movements are very important in a democracy, and different social problems come under discussion through these movements. The government then has to pay attention to such problems, and leaders and activists of the movement provide necessary information about those issues to the government, and this information is very useful for the government while making policies. So again, why a movement, we'll see in the short. Some people focus on a particular issue, follow it constantly, and build public opinion. A movement is a type of collective action with a specific purpose. A movement is launched to solve any particular issue or pressurize the government. A movement requires people's involvement and sustained efforts to be successful. This is about why movement. Here we are seeing some stages of social movement. Now see emerge. Emerge, that means to form. Next we are seeing coalesces, that means to keep adding, or a stage of social movements in which the social movement begins to mobilize resources to achieve its goals, right? So first one, emerge, that means to form. The tendency for the social movement to form to address or perceived social problem, right? Second, again coalesces, that means keep adding. Third, that is bureaucratize, that means going through a difficult or complicated process or the tendency for a social movement to adopt characteristics of bureaucratic organization to achieve its goal. Now, this result, it can be success or failure, right? Further to that, co-optation, that is adding member to this allied group, this particular group. Next is repression, that means fall down, or the action or process of suppressing a thought or desire. Next, go mainstream, that means neutralize, yes, to make neutralize. And again, of this everything result can be decline, that means gradually or continuously loss of the strength. So these are all the stages of social movements. Next, advantages of the movements. Now, many social problems are discussed because of a movement. The leaders and the activists of the movement provide all the required information to the government on various issues, which is then used to frame future policies. People are empowered to protest or right to protest against policies of government. For example, any of the government decision which people don't like, people can oppose that particular decision along with the mass of people or group of people. Next, movements have a great significance in a democracy, right? So people always take the right decision or good decision. If government decision is government decision can be false, so people can correct it. However, this right must be used patiently and in a responsible manner, and people can use this right in a proper way. You can see people in the slide, people are opposing something and telling that whatever right can be followed. Next, features of movement. Now, as a movement is a collective action, participation of people is expected here, right? So movement is a collective action and people's active participation is expected. Next, a movement can be formed when people come together in interest of a particular issue. For example, pollution can be a single issue for which a movement can be created. Yes, pollution. Now in the lockdown period, we have seen that how much pollution is reduced in Mumbai, right? So again, because of this pollution issue, Delhi, which is the capital city of India, adopted odd and even formula. Next, a movement has a particular social objective or focused problem. For example, movement against corruption aims at ending corruption. We are knowing that India mostly known as a corrupted city. Everywhere you go, in the temple also you will see the corruption. To take the to go to the temple, inside the temple, yes, people give money. They don't want to go in the line to meet the god, There also people follow the corruption line. Next, movements have a leadership. Leadership keeps the movement active. Objectives of movement, program of action, strategy of agitation, everything is decided by its leader, and a strong leadership makes movement effective. Movements have organizations. Without an organization, it becomes difficult to follow up the issues. For example, farmers organization work for farmers movement. Any movement requires public support. People should feel connected to that issue that is undertaken by the movement. Movements have to have a program of action which help them to shape public opinion. So you can see this, people feel connected the issue that is undertaken by the movements. So movements have a program of action which really helps to shape the public opinion. Now here on the page number 92, at the end, you can see some school students dialogue. You have to read that dialogues and write a paragraph on it. Write it in your notebook. This is your today's homework, and further part of our lesson, that is important movements in India, that we are going to study in next week. Thank you, students.